You're having a new conversation at a new level, or an old conversation at a new level. Deal with it up here. Do not take yourself back down to the bottom of the mountain. Own that as a human being, we're going to have all these negative conversations that show up. Boom, I'm up here. Okay, I can handle this even more powerfully than I did when I was down here.
Hi, and welcome to Beyond the Paycheck. I'm Paula Christine. So I know we talk about mindset a lot, and probably people are like, oh, she's not going to talk about that again. But I do have a money mindset expert on today, but we're going to shift it up a little bit, and we're going to talk about 3 money myths that people have. So I'm going to say his name, and I hope to God I don't botch it. Welcome, Pericles. Did I get it?
You got it, Paula.
Yay!
Great job. Congratulations.
Okay, you can do the rest of your name.
Something to celebrate right off the bat.
Right off the bat. Okay, you do the rest of your name as my face is like 5 shades of red right now.
My name's Pericles Rellas. I know. She's like, okay, we got the first name down. That's it. Pericles Rellas.
So, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I have been a money mindset expert for the last 20 years, close to 25 years. It all started when I first started coaching back almost 30 years ago, working with clients to grow and expand their business. And what I noticed very early on was my clients would make more money. And yet at the end of every month, they'd still be in the same situation they were before they were making more money. They were either just treading water, they were either behind, or they were making more money, keeping more money, but they were stressed and worried and had anxiety. And so I started studying it because I knew there had to be something going on there. And it's in the course of that study and research that I discovered 2 things. One is that we all have a financial thermostat setting or money mindset. And 2 were the keys to actually resetting that thermostat setting so that we could earn more, keep more, and have a more fulfilling experience of money and of life in general.
So I do know you offer a masterclass on your financial thermostat because I seen that when I was doing some research on that. So if anybody's interested, it'll be in the show notes for his financial thermostat masterclass. But let's talk about money myths. So I mentioned that there was 3 of them. So let's start with number 1.
All right. Do you have one that you want me to start on, or do you want me to just...
Nope.
Okay. Well, I think the first myth is that there is a set way in which money interacts with us. In other words, oh, I'm just never going to have enough, or, oh, it's just my lot in life, or, oh, it's just going to be this way, or you're always going to have debt. Like there's this fixed relationship that we have with money and money has with us. And that is as far from the truth as could possibly be. That is simply part of our financial thermostat. And it regulates how we interact with money, how much money we can earn, how much money we can keep, as well as our thoughts, feelings, and emotions around money. So whatever your experience is with money right now is a function of your thermostat setting. And because you, at the end of the day, set that thermostat setting at some point in the course of your life, you don't ever have to remember when or where it happened. Just know that at some point it got set that way by you. You can actually reset it. You can create a whole new relationship to money. You can earn more, you can keep more, and you can have a more rewarding and fulfilling relationship, not just with money, but with yourself as well.
Okay, so let's say, because we're back to talking about mindset, so let's talk about that for a second. Let's say my financial thermostat says today, I have an abundant life, I have all the money I can spend and donate, but yet then throughout the day, let's say something triggers me to go back to that old mindset. How do you fix that?
Yep. Well, I think I would actually reverse it. We have a financial, for example, let me give you this example. We've got a thermostat in our room. It's set at 72 degrees. We open up the windows and it's 110 degrees outside. We're going to have the experience in the very beginning of all this hot air. It's going to be really, really hot. But that thermostat's going to kick on. It's going to turn on the AC and it will ultimately regulate and bring that room temperature back down to 72. So what you're talking about is almost like a temporary override of that thermostat while we've had that experience where suddenly there's all this money coming in and we're so excited, we think we've arrived and it's happened, and then boom, the money just disappears. If you looked at your life over a long period of time, I would be willing to bet that those patterns are very consistent. Oh, wow, I make a lot of money, but then it disappears. I make a lot of money and then it disappears. That's your financial thermostat re-regulating how much money you can earn. For some people, they can earn a lot of money, right? But they can't keep it. So they earn it and it disappears. Then other people, they can earn a lot of money, they can keep a lot of money, but they keep putting themselves in debt. No matter how much they make, they're always falling behind. They're always getting more and more debt. Or for people who can earn and keep a lot of money, they simply are not happy. They don't have joy. They don't have satisfaction in their life. They don't have a sense of fulfillment. So it's not that something sets you back again. It's actually that you were always there. That setting was always consistent. It's just sometimes we have things happen that occur like, whoa, it's happening. But because that setting is still there, it's always going to go back to that set temperature, 72 degrees.
Okay. So how do we get it to not do that?
That's
Nobody
the
wants
question.
to go.
And that
Okay.
nobody wants to go
Nobody
back.
wants to go
Exactly.
back.
And there are several things that we can do. I'm going to give you the first one, and all of these, I cover them all in my free masterclass on my website, which you mentioned earlier. But there's this way that money flows. So money is a currency, and as a currency, it flows like a current, just like water or wind or electricity.
It's energy.
Now, there's a unique way it's energy.
It's energy.
Exactly. It's a universal band of energy. Now, there is a distinct way or unique way in which money flows, and that is in a circle. So money flows to us, through us, and away from us, and then back around to us, through us, and away from us with a reservoir on the side that we get to keep. Now, inside of this flow of money, we have blocks in the flow of money, and we can have blocks in the flow of money coming to us and blocks in the flow of money going away from us. Now, because it flows in a circle, a block anywhere in that flow is ultimately a block everywhere in the flow, including that reservoir on the side that we get to keep. So what do some blocks in the flow of money coming to us look like? Well, things like, I hate the wealthy. I resent the wealthy. I hate my boss. I think money is the root of all evil. Those are all blocks in the flow of money coming to us. Not all of them. That is just a minuscule number of the blocks in the flow of money coming to us. Then blocks in the flow of money going away from us are things like, I hate paying my bills on time. I have the money, but I don't want to pay my bills on time. Or I don't like paying my bills on time. I hate paying for people's time. I think that they always are charging too much, so I try to negotiate them down. Or I hate paying my taxes. These are all examples of blocks in the flow of money going away from us. And when we start to clear those blocks out, what we find is that money flows more freely and abundantly to us, through us, and away from us, to us, through us, and away from us, and to that reservoir on the side that we get to keep.
Okay. How do we do it?
So it's clearing those blocks in the flow
how do you,
that will allow us to reset it.
so how do you clear the box though? I mean, how do you?
Well, first and foremost, it's the great next and natural next question is, first and foremost, we have to notice that we have the block. We have to notice what it is our mindset has been, or our thought or attitude about money. Money is the root of all evil. This is a great one. Not everybody, a lot of people will get this one. Like, it's evil, it's bad, it's all of that. The first thing we need to do is we need to own that we have that conversation. We need to really recognize the conversation and say, wow, I've had this conversation for a long time. For some people, it's been decades, almost their whole life. I believe money is the root of all evil. I truly believe that. I have believed that for however long you've believed it. It's owning the conversation. Step number one. Then step number two is letting go of the conversation. Literally saying it out loud. I release that conversation. I let go of that conversation. It no longer has dominion over me. It is no longer part of my life. That conversation is now in the care of wherever you want to
Okay.
put it. You can put it in the care of the universe, God, whatever that looks like for you.
Okay. So I have done
Then the
that.
third,
Wait, I've done that
okay,
in a lot of aspects of my life,
yes,
have released things.
okay,
But you say those words and I've done release meditations and I've done things, but they
yep.
still let something still triggers back in a little bit.
Yes. I love this. This is great because you're dealing, Paula, with what a lot of people deal with. And so it is a valid concern, a valid question. There's a third step that's super important that if it's missed, we will never actually alter
Okay,
that
I'm taking
original
notes. So wait, let's
conversation.
go back to number
Okay.
one was
So
realize,
first step is owning that you
owning
have the
it,
conversation,
owning it,
recognizing it and owning it.
owning it.
And I'm going to tell you why each one of these steps work and how it works
It's
in a
two is
second. So
release
first
it,
step, owning it,
three is release it.
owning it. Yep. Second question is releasing the conversation, saying it out loud. This isn't something you do quietly in your head. You have to say it out loud and you have to give it to something other than yourself to take away from you. So for some people, it's the universe. For some people, it's God. I had somebody the other day who said, I'm giving it up to the olive tree in the front yard. Somebody the other day, the ocean. Makes no difference, but you have to physically feel it going over to wherever you're putting it. Now, you don't want to put it on someone else because first of all, they won't take it. It's not theirs to take, but you give it to something that can handle it. Look, God, the universe can handle that. Whatever conversation you have, no problem. Surrender it over to that. It no longer has dominion over me. It is no longer part of my life. That's step two. Third step, most important step, is now in that space. We've had this feeling of release as we're letting it go. May not be complete, but we have a sense of, okay, a little bit of relief. Now, declaring who we are newly in that space. Money flows to me freely and abundantly every single day. Money flows to me freely and abundantly every single day. And I'm making this up. This can be anything that you want, and this can be applied in any area of your want. Any area you want doesn't need to just be money. So you've now owned it, you've released it, and now you've declared who you are. And you have to write that declaration down. You have to have it on your bed nightstand. You have to have it on your mirror in the bathroom. You have to have it on your computer at work. You have to have it everywhere. And you want to get present to it throughout the day. Every single moment that you have any thought of that old conversation come in, boom. Oh, there's that old conversation. I let that go. It's no longer mine. The universe has that conversation. This is who I am. Now, we're doing it for several reasons. Number one, from a biological perspective, Dr. Joe Dispenza is really great at
Love
this.
him.
We have all these neural pathways in our minds, in our heads that fire and wire together. And the more they fire and wire together, the stronger those neural pathways get. It's kind of like pushing A4 on a jukebox, right? Something happens, some stimulus happens, and we just, boom, we go. We know what that feels like. We've all experienced that. We go to brush our teeth. We do it exactly the same way. We don't even think about it. We get in the car, put on our seatbelts, and da-da-da. All of those things are neural pathways that have been firing and wiring together that are just very natural for us. Same thing's true with these old conversations. That conversation of whatever it may be, that it never works for me, or I always get set back, or money is the root of all evil. Those are just old conversations with powerful neural pathways that have been firing and wiring together for a long time. The moment we own the conversation, what we're doing is we're moving it from that survival part of our brain to the frontal cortex, where we're now bringing critical thinking. That interrupts that neural pathway. It starts to break the neural pathway. Releasing it, again, breaking the neural pathway. Creating a new conversation of who we are creates a new neural pathway. Now, it's a fledgling neural pathway. It's delicate. It can easily be broken. So every time we're thinking about this, we want to think about that conversation. We want to feel what it feels like to be somebody that has money flowing to us easily and abundantly every single day. That creates and builds that neural pathway, and it starts to get stronger and stronger and stronger. And the more we interrupt those old patterns, the weaker those conversations become, the quieter they become, and the louder the new one becomes. Now, that's it on a biological perspective. From an energetic perspective, and I'll shut up in a second because this is just so important. On an energetic perspective, it's important for us to feel what it feels like to be that person who money flows to easily and abundantly every single day. Because now what we've done is we've shifted our vibrational frequency. And now we're kicking off something very, very different. And what we kick off is what's attracted to us. This is Abraham Hicks, full on Abraham Hicks law of attraction. We attract the things that are vibrating at the similar frequency of what we're vibrating at. So that's why this system works. That's how the system works, and the specific 1, 2, and 3 of it to clear blocks in the flow of money.
I think for the first time, somebody's put it all together for me in 3 easy steps. I mean, I've been doing this for a while. I mean, I had some girlfriends over on Friday, and we were talking about buying homes and doing things and manifesting law of attraction and like they look at me like they get it, but then they look at me like I'm crazy because I'm having these conversations and I'm saying, listen, you got to change the way that you're thinking, and you have to believe, and you have to change your energy. And they're like, give me an example. I'm like, well, I said a year ago and said I was buying a lake house, and you're sitting at my lake house. And I said, and I manifested all the money to come to me that I needed, and everything worked out and has worked out for me since I learned to do these things. But I do find that sometimes that tiny bit of doubt, and it has been lately, even though I'm telling everybody else what to do, is creeping back into my life, only because I think I'm in a new stage of transition. And so
Yep.
as I'm going through this new stage of transition, I'm doing Mary Morrissey's Dream Builder course. It's a great course. And so I'm going through this and having to focus on my goals and dreams. And I'm going through this whole new transition. And I think through this, these things are popping up, and they're going, hey, did you forget about us?
Yep.
Here, we're back. And I'm like, no, you're not back. Go away.
Right. Exactly. And I think this is where oftentimes people get tripped up because they think that these conversations are never going to come back, or they try to ignore the conversations. And ignoring and this is why manifesting doesn't work for a lot of people. They're genuine people. They truly are trying. They're doing the work to manifest, but they're doing it on top of a financial thermostat setting that will never allow them
Yes.
to get to that place. And so then they're frustrated and they're upset. Well, manifestation doesn't work for me. It actually will work for you, but you have to reset that financial thermostat or reset that mindset so that you are prepped for that kind of money. This is the reason like 70% of all lotto winners go broke within the first 5 years, is their financial thermostat setting is not designed to handle that kind of money.
Right.
So there's huge influx of money, and then all their thermostat is doing is disappearing. And within 5 years, they're like, whoa, I'm broke and I actually have debt. And I just made $200 million or whatever the number will be. So yes, it is important to know number one, those conversations will come back. Don't ignore them. Do that 3-step process. Oh, there you are. I haven't seen you in a long time. Great to see you again, but you're no longer mine. Off you go. I'm letting you go. This is who I am. Right? Or this happens too. People are going up the mountain in their journey, and they get way up here, and then one of those old conversations comes back, and they think, oh my gosh, my life sucks again, and they're all the way back down to the bottom. No, you're having a new conversation at a new level,
yeah.
or an old conversation at a new level. Deal with it up here. Do not take yourself back down to the bottom of the mountain. Own that as a human being, we're going to have all these negative conversations that show up. Boom, I'm up here. Okay, I can handle this even more powerfully than I did when I was down here.
And I feel that because I've been doing that. The conversation I'm having with myself today as I'm building my dreams and goals for this Dream Builder program, and those little things are coming back up, but it's a totally different conversation because I can go back and go, oh, no, because I remember this happening and this happening and this happening. So I know that that's no longer true. It's like that inner child in you for a second's waking up and going, wait a minute, here I am.
Yep. Well, actually, it is that survival, the amygdala, that survival part of our brain that's designed to keep us safe. It is the oldest part of our brain, and it's responsible for respiration and heart rate and all the things that happen in the background of our bodies. But it's also the thing that has us jump out of the way of a car without even thinking. It's the thing that's designed to keep us safe. Back when there were so many things that we needed to be kept safe from, saber-toothed tigers and all those crazy things. We don't have that now, but that part of our brain hasn't evolved. So it doesn't understand thoughts and dreams. It doesn't understand aspirations. All it wants is for us to be sitting at home in front of the TV, eating bonbons and watching TV. It doesn't want anything else. So when we're expanding, when we get to that place like you're doing now, you're creating your next set of goals, the next set of dreams. That little part of our brain gets activated and it's like, no, 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 danger, danger, danger. And so it's naturally going to be showing up like that. And so relate to it as we do in poker, we call it a tell. When we see somebody he does this, we know he doesn't have a hand. When he does this, we know he's got a really strong hand. We want to look for it as a tell, like, I'm up to something that I should be up to. I'm up to something big. And that's why these old conversations are showing up. And it gives you more power to deal with them the way they ought to be dealt with, which is, thank you for being here. I got that you're here. I'm letting you go because you're no longer mine. And this is who I am.
I like the way that you phrase that they are telling you that you're on the right track to where you're supposed to be going. Because I feel that because and I know I'm probably making this podcast about myself, but that's okay. I do that often. But anyway, I feel that too. Like I know, like my next step, I know that what I'm reaching for and what I'm dreaming about is like right there. And so it's coming to say to me, almost like a test. Like, are you sure you're worthy? Yes, I'm worthy. You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to go down your path anymore. I'm going to go straight. You can't trip me up.
Yeah, this is so great, Paula, that you're saying this, because that survival part of our brain is insidious in the way the things that it will say to us to get us to go sit back down on the couch. So if you're already sitting on the couch, if you're not up to anything big, it has no reason to say anything to you. It's not going to say anything to you. It's just quiet because everybody's safe.
Won't it say to you you're lazy?
No, it won't tell you you're lazy unless you're thinking about doing something that's not lazy. They don't say, yeah, you're just lazy, right? But the minute we get into that mode of, I don't need to do anything, I'm just not going to do anything, it has nothing to do. But the minute we start thinking, gosh, I'm really lazy, yeah, you need to be lazy. You're not pretty enough. You're not handsome enough. You're not smart enough. Nobody likes you. You don't know enough about it. It'll come up with all these crazy things, and it will and each one of us has the unique thing that it will say to us. You remember what your mother said. Remember what your father said. Remember what your uncle said. Like all of these things, it will use them to its advantage. And its only purpose, again, is to get us safe in the house. Versus, whoa, there's that conversation. I'm up to something now. I'm up to something, and I'm just going to let that conversation be. Let it go, and this is who I am. It's all about being able to stay in that frontal cortex where we're bringing that critical thinking of what's going on with me right now. Where am I? What am I doing? And am I present in the moment, or am I lost and stuck in these old conversations that are just simply there to bring me down and keep me at that place of sitting on the couch, watching TV, eating bonbons? And if that's what you want to do, I don't have a judgment about that, by the way. I don't want anybody thinking here that you have to be a certain way. I don't. I'm talking to people who are really committed to something other than what they've got, and they want to move to another level. Then this is for you. These are the conversations you want to be having. If it's not, great. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.